So it's not just whether this group has access, it's whether or not all the groups have access or whether other groups have access.
Tonight we're digging into cybersecurity. This comes as several school districts are dealing with the aftermath of a recent data breach.
As Fox 25's Grant Palmer explains, the data compromised included personal details like birthdays and addresses.
So many schools were affected as they use this student management system for record keeping, for all those sorts of things.
Local school districts are finding out they've been impacted by a data breach that happened late last year to PowerSchool, a student information system provider. In a release Monday, the Mustang School District said student information like names, addresses, and date of birth were affected, while the same information was leaked for some staff, including 15 having their social security number come up in the breach.
The best thing to do would be to find that out if you don't already know that from the school system, and then basically follow basic good practices. So monitor your financials, monitor your credit. Even better would be to lock your credit.
Enid Public Schools released a statement saying they were impacted too, urging students and staff to change their passwords immediately. PowerSchool also released a statement saying they're investigating the incident and are coordinating with districts to provide more information and resources. Waddell tells me while this wasn't exactly the case here, it's a challenge for entities like schools to ensure data is protected.
Part of the challenge is just the wealth of data. They have a lot. And then it also means that they have very complex systems, and school systems are beset by the same financial challenges that a lot of organizations are. So having a good, secure system costs a lot sometimes, and also it means having the right people in place.
Reporting for Fox 25 News, I'm Grant Palmer.
New data shows cybercrime against schools is up more than 155% since this time last year.
As Fox 25's national reporter Lisa Fletcher explains, it's because kids are one of the most lucrative targets for cyber criminals.
Not much here that's appealing to a cyber criminal. No bank accounts, credit cards, or sensitive emails to hack. Nothing of value. Unless the value actually is nothing.
So you have a perfectly clean financial history, but you also have a perfectly clean, personal history or identity in general. This could be used for nefarious financial reasons, maybe opening up loans, lines of credit, etc., because no one's watching. Not a lot of people monitor the credit of their children.
Aaron Rose is the security architect manager for Checkpoint Software Technologies. They recently discovered that schools are 2.5 times more likely to be targeted than any other part of the economy.
What makes the education sector so much more valuable to cyber criminals than any other industry in the U.S.?
It's an easy target.
With the reward of everything from private communication between parents and teachers to medical records, home addresses, and social security numbers.
So you start to paint a picture and start to understand that we've kind of created this perfect storm of the schools that might not necessarily have the resources they need to protect the data they have, but they also have some of the most important information in the world that they're protecting. That's the holy grail for an attacker.
Checkpoint estimates that every day in the U.S. there are more than 550 cyber attacks on schools. And places like port regions, military bases, and the D.C. area, says Rose, are higher value targets, starting with employees in the seat of government.
What are they targeting? Their kids. What happens when they start to build extortion tactics against, these high-profile individuals or employees, et cetera, to say, hey, we have this data about your kid, either pay us or we'll leak it.
Take a look at these. Actual ads showcasing specific schools. This one boasts data from a district with 20 elementary schools and information on special needs students. Peel back another dark web layer and find ads like this, describing in detail what's been stolen and up for sale. Personal data of teachers, students, and parents, home addresses, licenses, photos of students. A data hack in the Broward County, Florida schools exposed personal data of more than 50,000 students and teachers. More than 600,000 students in the LA Unified School District were the target of hackers in 2023, and when the district refused to pay the ransom, the criminals put 500 gigabytes of personal data on the dark web. In Fairfax, Virginia, hackers leaked stolen sensitive files onto the dark web, ranging from disciplinary information on students to employee names, social security numbers, and insurance data. No one knows whose hands it ended up in or how and when it could be used.
We're all terrified of physical harm coming to our children while they're in schools. But think about the cyber aspect of that as well. It can have, massive implications on their lives and their futures.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
The Power School data breach some districts are dealing with right now, not the first breach that's impacted Oklahoma. The state sued Marriott over a 2018 data breach that exposed the information of millions of guests. Back in October, Attorney General Gentner Drummond announced the state would receive $660,000 in a settlement reached with the company. Now, in 2022, Norman Public Schools announced they had been the victim of a ransomware attack. The district warned families that names and social security numbers may have been impacted. They hired a third-party data forensics and incident response specialist to help investigate how the unauthorized actor gained access to certain systems. And Integris Health announced it was the victim of a cybersecurity incident in December of 2023. The company said patient data may have been compromised, varied by individual, but included everything from names to birth dates to social security numbers. The company faced 2 federal lawsuits over that breach.
A new consumer label that shows which devices are protected from hacking threats is gaining popularity. The U.S. Cyber Trust Mark initiative allows manufacturers to add a label with a QR code to their products if they reach federal cybersecurity standards. They can be put on refrigerators or security cameras, and it helps consumers identify which devices are safe from hacking threats. Companies like Amazon, Google, and Best Buy are involved in the program. And that was your Big Story Breakdown tonight. You can learn more about school cybersecurity threats on OKCFox.com.
Plus, you can check out all of our previous Big Story Breakdowns on our YouTube page. Just search OKC Fox.